So we did an interview with your man Melle Mel, man, and he made a comment, and he said that Tupac is greater than Biggie because Tupac had more influence and Tupac has substance in his music, and he felt like Biggie lacked substance in his music, and he felt like Biggie didn't influence hip hop at all.
So, like I said, and technically, if I had to make a choice between who was the better rapper between Biggie and Pac, I would choose Biggie. But now, if you had to say who was the greater rapper, you would have to choose Pac because his thing it changed everything. You had that whole thug life movement. You had it was more of a change in hip hop and in the diaspora of hip hop and the dynamics of hip hop. In the dynamics of hip hop than when Biggie did his album. He just did a hell of an album.
So you pretty much saying that you feel like Biggie didn't really have that much influence musically.
On other rappers, no, 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 no. There's more. In other words, there's more rappers that actually quoted that they wanted to be the next Pac or they wanted to be like Pac. I don't recall a record of anybody saying that they wanted to be like Biggie.
I love my man Mel, but as a man, I got to stand on my own truth. Absolutely, Biggie had influence in hip hop, man. Biggie was great, just like Tupac was great, and it's a hard thing to like. All right, Pac had substance, and Biggie had what? Nothing. Biggie brought a whole coast back. If that's not influence, what is influence? You know what I mean? It ain't like, you know what I mean, you got to rhyme different. I'm like, right now, the average cat flows can't go up against Biggs. You understand what I'm saying? Big was great, man. And you know what I mean? Because I look at it from the perspective of the short time he was on this planet with them two albums and the impact that he had. You understand what I'm saying? Pac been out a little longer, and yes, Pac had more deeper things. But if you listen to Life After Death, Biggie was going there. He was going there. He had some joints on there that was a lot different from his first album, Ready to Die. You know what I mean? He was going there, so you can feel the evolution. Now, Big was great, man. Big was great. You know what I mean? I guess. And it's sad that, you know what I mean, a cat really have to, for one to win, the other one got to lose. And I don't see it like that. Big was super great, man. You know what I mean? We still I bump Big crazy. I know millions of cats that bump Bigs. You know what I mean? So, of course he had an impact. He brought it, he put the East Coast on his back and he held it down. He held it down. So that's great to me. In the middle of that, we didn't hold it down. He held it down. You know what I mean? I just want to keep it 100. You know what I mean? At that point, he held it down. Now, Big was great and Pac was great, and I just like the two-step pass. I happen to put them both against each other because they both was generals, in their own way. Pac had more substance around certain records, absolutely. But anybody that was listening to hip hop, you could see that's the direction Big was gonna go. I would have loved this if he was alive to hear what he'd be saying now. With all the Black Lives Matter and different things like that, or even pop. You know what I mean? I think it'd be a whole nother dynamic on how we would be as a people because they had so much influence. Pop more than Big. Don't get me wrong, but Big was getting there. So you got to put that into perspective. If he would have been here, he'd have did something great.
So I got to ask you, man, Tupac or Biggie?
With me personally, I'm going to definitely have to go with Pac. You know what I mean? And it's nothing, it's very much for me to say it's nothing against Big. And just like I just said, because one win don't mean the other one got to lose. But if I have to pick the two, I would play Pac because his body of work. You know what I mean? He could go from this to that to that to that to that, and you could and because that's how your thoughts is. Sometimes you happy, sometimes you mad, sometimes you conscious. So he had everything for you. You know what I mean?
How you feel about Melle Mel saying Jay-Z is overrated?
Man, Jay-Z is like, well, see, what's funny about that, and I know everybody got their opinion, but Jay-Z is my favorite artist of all times. You know what I mean? See, we talking about Pac and Big. So I'm answering questions about Pac and Big. But for me, Jay-Z is my favorite artist of all time. Of all time. You know what I mean? He changed so many narratives. And, just like I said, Big helped us put this hat back on. Jay definitely helped us put this hat back on. And wear it with pride. No, Jay-Z can never be overrated. How could he? Look how much work he got. Look at the body of his work. Look how many things he changed. Not just in hip hop. I'm like, yo, Jay is so fly that, you know what I mean, that it's like he said, he bragged different, man. There's certain things that he could say that the average rapper just can't say. Because if you ain't living it, you know what I mean? It's like, nah, not Jay. Not Jay. You know what I mean? I would never be able to walk the street if I was to say, Jay-Z is overrated. I'm like, people would think like, you know what I mean, that I'm jealous or I'm hating or something. And it's not that, Jay. You got to understand, we did what we did in hip hop, culture-wise. We brought it all up so everybody could learn how to rap. We hip hop 101. We was a school. You learn how to rap from. These cats took it to a way of a level, man. They took it to another level, man. They learned from us, but at this point, we need to be learning from them because they doing things never imagined of doing in hip hop. How many cats are becoming billionaires, B? From hip hop. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, is different businesses attached to that, but hip hop is the business card. When you make a record today, you don't even make a record really to get all of the paper from the record. The record is your new business card now. This is who I am to go do other things. You know what I mean? Look at Nas, man. He got his company. He invested into 130 different companies. He's killing them. Helped start a Lyft. When at the ground level, Ring. You know what I mean? So the artists is, and it all come from hip hop. So how can you say somebody is overrated when they are opening so many doors? I think a lot of artists, you know what I mean? I can't speak for Mel, but a lot of artists stay more into them just being a rapper. And they look at things just from a rapper standpoint. So in their head, a lot of people be like, well, I think I could rap better than them, so that's why you not that good. When now it's not about just the rap, man. They opening doors, and that's what we did. We opened up doors. We didn't intentionally open up doors, you know what I mean? But we did. Now they opening up the world. So when you say somebody's overrated, it's like, that's a hard pill to swallow, man. You know what I mean? Because he's doing so many great things, that we don't even know about. So. And you can't dismiss that, even if, all right, hypothetically, if somebody don't like somebody rap style, but you can't say he's overrated when he's doing all of these other things. You know what I mean? I just disagree with that. You know what I mean? And Mel, my man, you know what I mean? And I'm clever enough and smart enough to know when we do interviews, sometimes people but this ain't about that. This is about everybody got their own truth. And you asking me a question, and I'm explaining my truth. And this is not, I ain't shooting down Mel. I just disagree. We friends. So, this is nothing. I'm like, it's like you got family members that disagree. I totally disagree. Jay, maybe I'm a little more, that's like my favorite of all time right now, period.
How you feel about Melle Mel saying that he can easily beat Eminem in a rap battle?
Well, you know what? Maybe Mel got a strategy You know what I mean? That nobody know. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I just think that's once again, that's his truth. I can't say like that he can't be Eminem, but one thing that I definitely wouldn't agree on that it'll be easy as anybody would say. I don't think it's a rapper out here that could just body Eminem. Eminem is like, you know, it's like I heard my man Cass say, Grandmaster Cass say, and which is true, and I agree. Eminem is a lyricist. You know what I mean? So the average person can like Eminem, but then you take somebody like a Rakim or Coogee or people that really, from a Big Daddy Kane to a LL that understand real lyricists, they are like Eminem fans. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Eminem is like, he's just that, you know, Eminem, no matter what his subject matter is and stuff like that, it ain't no way anybody, and I'm not just talking about no Melle Mel, I'm talking about ain't no way nobody on this planet Earth could listen to Eminem and say, he's whack. You might, if anything, he might not be your cup of tea. Let's put it like that. It might not be your cup of tea. But as far as being whack, and you can, far from that. Far from that.